Hey, welcome to episode 98 of Scar Bearers. We're inching toward that triple digit goal, folks. I'm so excited. I'm Chris DT Gordon. It is a blessing to have you here with me today. And joining me in the technological sense are Nate and Britton Barron. If you want them to work on your projects, please reach out to them at Nate Barron. As always, if you're here with me every week, you hear me talk about how the attitude of gratitude or TAG can help your young people, your high schoolers, your college students, your members of the military work through their struggles and challenges by increasing their gratitude, positivity, and resilience. If you know a group or an organization that could benefit from my message, please reach out to me at chrisdtgordon.com. You can also download a free tag one sheet. You can maybe grab a shirt or a hat from the merch store. You know, me and my bald head, we really like these warm toques. You can grab one at the merch store and just get to know my story a little better so it can help you and benefit our future leaders. Well, folks, today I'm joined by a new friend, Charlene Norman. Charlene, how are you today?
I am fantastic, sir.
It is such a blessing to have you here with me today. Thanks for joining me. You and I are connected bacterially because we were just living our best lives, and then something came along and said, you know what? Let's make things interesting. Now, I was affected by Streptococcus pyogenes, but what infected your life? I guess that's a way of saying it.
Mine was streptococcal meningitis.
Both very powerful characters on a Scrabble board.
Yes.
Definitely. So please walk us through and tell us, maybe briefly what your life was like before your fateful encounter and how life has changed since.
Well, gosh. Before February of 2015, I was a high-powered senior executive running companies 35 million up to almost $1 billion. I was the one that said the buck stops at my desk, and I had lots of teams and lots of responsibility, blah, blah. What was exciting was we were always getting amazing, extraordinary results, and everyone was happy. It's a little strange today when you can say that everyone was happy, but that's what my life was. In February of 2015, I woke up one day and my husband said, "Oh, honey, it's so nice to see you. Now, don't worry, you're in the hospital and you've had a stroke. But don't worry, I'm not going to go get the doctor. I'm going to tell the doctor that you're awake." So that was
Quite a way to wake up.
That was when this little bug had made his presence known to me, and I went, "What?" Now I don't play a doctor on TV. I don't have any medical training whatsoever, and I screamed in my head and said, "No, absolutely not. No." I'm also a very vain woman. And the first thing I did after I screamed no in my head was I felt my face, and I pulled this, I felt for tugs and pulls on my face. There were none. And I said, "Well, of course not. It's no." I did not. My husband must have been wrong. Well, no, my husband, he lied to me. I had 2 seizures, 2 strokes, and I'd spent a week in a coma. So all this to say that this little tiny bug, streptococcal meningitis, what it likes to do, and I don't know where it comes from. I really don't know how I ever got it. What it likes to do is it goes in and it strips out all the oxygen in your mind. So that's why you get seizures. That's why you get strokes, and that's why you can die. I was shocked. And when I said no, I was also saying no to a lot of other things. I was saying, no, I am not disabled. No, my husband does not have to look after me. No, I'm still going to be the main breadwinner in a household. No, I'm still this vibrant I was. I've not changed. None of that. This is so wrong. And so physically, I had problems stringing thoughts together. I couldn't talk properly. I could talk. I just couldn't talk like I'm talking now. Um, I I could stand as long as I was holding something. I could walk as long as I was holding on to something. But the ease of walking, the ease of dancing, the ease of just standing straight and relaxed, that had kind of gone. And when I said, okay, so this is going to be over in a week, right? No, no. So I was in the hospital for 2 months in rehab and doing all kinds of stuff. And it was an experience that I didn't expect. And here's the strange thing. When you are a type A personality, control freak, everything is done to your plan, there's a lot of shame that is all of a sudden thrown on you because you didn't plan for this. You were always the tough one. You're always the strong one. And this just took you up at the knees. So there was a lot of that going on in my head. And that was the first day. So I allowed myself a pity party. I'm very good at pity parties. I allowed myself a pity party for the first day. And I said, this is nonsense. This is absolute nonsense. I can't overcome. And that started the journey.
Wow. Yeah. I can imagine being someone who is always in charge, always making the tough calls, always, like you said, the buck stops with you. Having that power taken away from you must have been mentally debilitating, or at least extremely traumatic.
I think it was more than mentally debilitating. The problems mentally came later. And we can cover that later, but I've never ever been cut off at the knees in my entire life, and all of a sudden I had to start over. And why the hell did this happen to me? And so the thing I want to stress for the listeners is life happens to all of us as completely out of nowhere. Chris, you did not ever expect to have what happened to you. You didn't.
Nope. I did not plan that.
No. And I didn't plan it either. And I always say, shit happens to all of us, whether you get a divorce, a death, a horrible disease, you lose your job. There's these things that happen at some point to almost every one of us. And the one thing that's always missing that I've noticed is we're never taught. We're never taught in school. We're never taught in the office. We're never taught with our friends. How do you deal with all this? And I've always been, I've had the reputation of being resourceful. I guess that's the word. And so all I did was I took everything that I had learned about how to be a successful business person, and I turned it all on. Oh, I have a dog. Sorry about that.
No,
I turned everything that I had learned about being a successful business person onward and inward into me. And I made myself the experiment, and it worked. It's 6 years later, whatever. And my doctors still say that whatever I did to myself was a minor medical. I don't consider it to be that special because I believe that everyone can do that, and that's what I would really like to share. How you set your mind to positivity and say, I can do this. Because all I did was I took the lessons that I used in business and then just made them personal.
Wow. Can you
So
please, I would love to hear some examples of how you did that, because I think, you might actually be able to help someone today in which I know that's why you're here, but I'm excited to hear some examples from your own experience.
I call it the 6-level winning mindset, the 6 levels of goal for a winning mindset. And the first thing always is, you want to go or you don't want to go. And this goes to I have a theory, that whine. Oh man, they whine. And so the first time someone whines, you say, okay, well, here's a suggestion. The 10th time they whine, you walk away, because they don't want help. They just want to whine, right? So in business, if you're going to launch a product, if you're going to buy a business, if you're going to fire someone or hire someone, you have to make that decision, and then you're 100% in. No ifs, ands, or buts. You're 100% in. So as I say, I had my pity party, and I said, put on the big girl panties, put back the shoulders, we're going for this one, and I don't care what it is. So that's the first level. You really have to tell yourself, you want to do it or you don't. And, there's lots of people that don't. And so that's fine. So this is only for the people that say, okay, I will do this. The second step is, I found was funny, because this is how I get my energy. I get my energy from gratitude, and through me to your message. And I thought, isn't that funny how people can take this little word, which has a big meaning, and apply it in so many different ways.
Yes.
So how I got my gratitude. I'm normally a positive person. And the second day in the hospital, I'm lying there and I'm listening. I'm in a ward, and it's filled with folks who, than me, actually. I listened, and some people, their tongues were stuck to the roofs of their mouths. Some people clearly couldn't go to the bathroom themselves. Some people needed lots of help. Some people were crying. It was terrible. And I laid there, and I thought, wow, I am really lucky. I don't have all of that. I can still do this stuff, which means I can go forward. And I found that personally very energizing. And I had done that my entire, if you think about, the life, it's all bad, it's all come on me, I'm the worst, can't be any worse than this. No, you can always find someone else who's in a worse position. So what I do believe is, then you put yourself out and you extend yourself to those people who are not as well off as you. So I needed to give myself a routine as part of this gratitude thing. So I called myself, I'm a little Miss, and I set myself up a routine to go out every single day and talk to all the people in my ward who were not as well off as me. And I just smiled. I told them a joke. I had wished them good morning. It made my spirits improve. I got lots of energy. I got smiles wherever I went. And that smile thing is so damn contagious, right?
Yes.
So those are the first 2 steps that I gave myself to get up, start moving, and start motoring. The third step is when you really need to get clear, when you really need to say, okay, what do I have? Because we all have strengths that we don't necessarily pay attention to. So I did a quick inventory. Okay, I can still go to the bathroom. I still have my brain. It may not be functioning, but I can still think. And I can do this, and I'm still on a routine, and all I need, and I've got all these people that are going to help me. So, and I'm still really good at marking out orders. So I'm going to put in orders, and what I was doing was getting very clear.
Stick with your strengths.
I couldn't take that on him.
Yeah.
Always lead with your strengths.
Yes.
The whole point, though, is to take an honest inventory of what have you got, what can you bring to the table, because from there you can look at, okay, so table, what do we need, and where do I have to? What else do I need to bring into that thing? So the other thing that I brought into the fold was I became the worst patient in a hospital. Anybody on the medical side, and I'm talking the therapist. There were 40 therapists. I basically said to them, so no, I don't want to do that. That's not going to help me. I want you to give me homework. So first off, that was a bit of a surprise because nobody had ever asked for homework. I said, to do 10 times the amount of work that you want to give me. And they looked at me and said, like, nobody. I said, well, I am not nobody, and I'm going to do 10 times the amount of work. I will be honest with you, Chris, some days that really killed me.
Right, questioning yourself, okay, why did I ask for that?
Well, not only that, but when you're in the hospital, you're not in fine form all the time, right? I mean, there's a reason you're in the hospital.
Yeah, preach, sister. I know exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
And if you think that you're superhuman and you're going to beat all the odds that you don't really know what the odds are, well, you're dreaming in Technicolor. You really are. Mm-hmm. But by standing up for myself, by using my strengths, by looking at what I had and saying, but I can do this much more, and demanding it and pushing myself and pushing down, I honestly believe that's how I got through it. And it's not fun. And it wasn't easy. I mean, I'm talking to you tonight and it sounds like, oh yeah, it was a piece of cake. It sounds like it was super easy. It wasn't. It wasn't. And it's only through going through tough stuff and going through the really hard slugging that we realize, number one, how strong we really are. And number two, what we have to pull upon from deep within. And it's the pulling upon from deep within that is part of the wonderful parts of going through life is limits.
Yes, I totally agree. You know, people sometimes will say to me, well, I'm sorry you had to go through that. And I feel worse for my wife, who had to juggle 3 kids, 2 animals, and a full-time job while driving 100 miles every weekend to make sure I was still alive and making and recovering. I was in a hospital room with an iPad, binging the first season of Daredevil, drinking protein shakes all day and being visited by lovely people, my nurses. And all I had to do was get better. And so, yeah, I totally agree with you. What you're saying is that it all comes down to perspective.
It really does. It really does. The 4th step in the 6 levels is what I call getting strategic. So what exactly can I do? So besides doing the 10 times and besides becoming a patient from where, I pushed myself to call my friends. This was hard because I could not talk nearly as well as what I used to be able to talk. I was self-conscious that my speaking skills were not where they should be. I pushed myself to do stuff that was completely outside. I'll give you a really simple example. I said, I'm going to be walking and I picked a date. What do I need to strategically get into walking? So the first thing I did was I set myself a goal and I said, I'm going to go buy myself a coffee at the coffee shop. And to get there, was normally a 6-minute walk. The first time I took it, I held up the walls the whole time, and it took me 20 minutes to get down there, 20 minutes to get back, and I was a sweat bag. I don't know what else. It was just a pilot. That's all I was. Inside of 2 weeks, doesn't take long once you start getting very strategic of what you're going to do. Inside of 2 weeks, I had that walk down in less than 10 minutes down, less than 10 minutes back. And by the time I left the hospital, it was way less than 6 minutes.
Wow.
The idea of being strategic, the idea of, okay, how am I going to set myself up for my day to be a success? That's, I think, a lot of brain power. And I had a brain injury. I don't know why they called them that, but anyway, so something happened in the back of my head. And so I had this brain injury, so the brain didn't work. So I ended up writing myself a bunch of notes every single day. Here's my timetable. Here's what I'm going to do. Here's my to-do list. And then I just kept doing it. But the first part of that is you've got to get strategic. Do you want to eat? Do you go out to eat? Do you want to go in a hospital? There's only so many things you can do, but you make the most of what you can do, right?
Yes.
The next, sorry, yes?
No, I was going to say, I was just, as you were talking about that, about being strategic, I was thinking of that adage, you don't plan to fail, you fail to plan.
Mm-hmm.
So no, please go ahead. I'm excited to hear about number 5.
That's exactly right. And my background was always planned. It was always planned. Have a plan. I would have a plan A, a plan B, a plan C, and I would, yeah. So step 5 is the hardest. It's the most boring. It's the longest. It's the most unknown, and it feels like purgatory. Step 5 is about focus. Step 5 is having faith and confidence. Now, I'm not talking about having faith in God. I mean, that's okay if you have faith in God, but I'm talking about having faith in yourself. Faith that I am doing absolutely everything that I can do, and having confidence that what I am doing will one day pay off. The hardest part about that is nobody defines the one day that will pay off.
Nope.
And that one day, man, it takes a long time for it to come finally through. And there are a lot of tears that you go through and to get there, and the frustration of, why is this taking so long? What's wrong with me? And there's nothing wrong with you. And it's not taking so long. It's taking as long as you need.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. A lot of times, go ahead, I'm sorry.
And it's excruciating, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, we hear a lot about overnight successes, whether it be in music or in movies or TV. Yeah, I think the average length of an overnight success is about 10 years.
At least. I was going to say it's probably closer to 20 for a lot of the musicians and stuff. But yes, you want an overnight success, you got to pay your dues for 10 years.
Yeah, those who think it just happens overnight, they I don't want to say they don't have a clue, but they could use some enlightenment at least.
I will say that I do believe they're a tad naive.
Yeah, there you go. And we all are naive about something. So
We sure are. Well, every one of us. Yes. Let's not go there. Yes, every one of us. The 6th stage is all about action and repetition. And you finally get to the top of the mountain. And that because no matter how frustrating Level 5 is. Level 6, you get up, you brush yourself off, and you keep saying onwards and upwards. I am not quitting. I'm not a quitter. I've never quit. I'm not going to start now. And for some people that might sound tough, and I don't mean it to sound tough. For some people that might sound really harsh, and I don't mean it to sound harsh. What I'm really getting at is this is how you dig deep. This is how you find what you're made of. This is how you find the little embers that are buried deep in your stomach that you end up pulling up through your chest, up through your brain, and propels you forward. Because I have noticed a million times over, you can have a whole pile of people in your corner pushing for you and prodding you. You can have somebody who says, come to me, come to me, come to me. You can have someone who says, I'm behind you 100%. But the only person, for every one of us frail humans, the only person that we need to talk to is the person in the mirror.
Yes.
And the person in the mirror is the one who actually motivates and inspires us.
I totally agree. We are more connected than ever with the internet, but at the same time, no one else is living our journey. And we have to be able to find it within ourselves to get out of bed every day and do the thing that we're going to do. Because you can have all the cheerleaders, all the followers on Instagram, all the Facebook friends, but no one else is going to take the steps you need to take for you. And so convincing yourself, like, as you said, looking in that mirror is essential. You can't have success unless you do that.
Now I would like to, I'm going to recap the 6, and I'm going to leave 2 thoughts that were drummed into me throughout the process. So the first level is, you want to go or you don't want to go. I don't care. It doesn't matter. It's up to you. If you're going to go, it's 100% all in. The second thing is to look for the gratitude. No matter how tiny you think you're lucky, find something that you can declare as yours that you are so blessed and so lucky about. Yes. The third step is to be clear and honest to have and what likely you're going to need. The fourth is to be very strategic and lay it out and hold yourself accountable to what you can do, and know that you can't do everything day one, but you can do it all within an undefined time frame. The fifth is the hardest. This is your focus. You have faith in yourself. You have confidence in your plans, and you just slogging through. And the sixth, that's when you did it. It wasn't easy. And you can look at yourself and say, I got through that one. I can get through anything now.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And now this process is called what again?
This process is what I call the 6 levels of gold for a winning mindset. And I'll give you a hint. I thought I was pretty clever. People would say, oh, how did you do it? So I actually wrote it down. I said, well, okay, so this is how it works. So I thought I was pretty clever. I came up with this, but here's the thing. There are no new ideas today. There are just your own take on existing ideas. So when I found out that this exact mindset, I'm not an athlete. Believe me, I'm not an athlete. When I found out that this exact mindset is what all the pro athletes use, when I found out that this winning mindset was exactly what all winners in any category, across teachers, business people, athletes, whatever, this is how they think. I went, oh, okay, so I just give you my take on it. But I want to leave what I call 2 really important things that I learned out of this. The first is nothing, no matter how much garbage gets thrown at us, nothing but nothing happens to us. It all happens for us because we're changed individuals and for the better. And the second lesson that I learned, and it's been reinforced a million times since, is the 4 inches between our ears is the most valuable piece of real estate we all own.
Mm-hmm.
And if you can turn your brain into thinking more positively or less negatively, whichever way you want to, your brain, what I learned is your brain cannot tell the difference between reality and fiction. So feed your brain all the fiction you need to get back into the reality that you want.
I love that. And I love how you worked in the sense of reality, because we nowadays have virtual reality goggles and you can buy at the store. And so I just imagine you putting on this VR set of your mindset. It's like your VR mindset. When I do speaking engagements, one of the first mantras I say is, where your thoughts go, your mind and body will follow.
Oh, so true.
Yes. And, and hearing you say that about the reality, your brain doesn't know the difference between reality and fantasy or imagination. I think it's so telling today, especially with what's going on and how mindset really affects everything. If you look at how people have reacted to this pandemic, some people have taken the victim route. Some people have taken the victory route. They've seen it as an opportunity other than an obstacle. And so I really appreciate that,
Right,
Charlene. So what are you doing now and maybe in the near future to expand your message, to share this with others?
So I got back into, because my first love has always been business, forever and a day. I got back into the business side, but I took a different approach. And I took a more holistic approach. Nobody's success, I don't care who you are, nobody's success is because of your business. You're success with you. And so what I ended up doing was, sure, I can make you a millionaire. I've been making millionaires my entire life. But I try and help you get into the process of oh, okay, your brain's in the right position now. You're thinking the way you need to become. And so this winning mindset that I developed is actually step number 10. And the first part, which I call personal power, because we all become these stuffed shirts, and we lose ourselves and we don't recognize ourselves in the mirror in this pursuit of success. So the first part is, let's get you focused on being the actual human being, the full functioning, joyful, happy, well-gifted human being you came into the earth with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now we got your head on straight. Now we got you thinking in a different way. Now let's take all that and move it into your business.
Gotcha.
And originally, I'll be honest with you, I thought, oh, I'm not sure this is going to work. But surprisingly enough, a lot of people feel that's the way they want to move. So I'm happy to help people.
That's awesome. So where can people find you to receive this help?
Oh, I play on LinkedIn. LinkedIn is my special place. I play there every day. So people can find me, reach out to me and send me notes and love letters and whatever they like on LinkedIn. That's
Okay.
where I play.
Excellent. And so we'll put that information in the show notes below. And I think you've alluded to this before, Charlene, but I'm a gratitude guy myself. And I always like to find out what are some interesting aspects of someone's life that they're thankful for that they may at one time would never think to be appreciative of. And so what is something that is surprising to you that you find that you're grateful for?
I am grateful that every single day I wake up on the right side of the grass. That is the honest to God truth. I never, ever, 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 ever thought I would ever say that. Full stop. Mm-hmm. I am grateful for the joy that others get when they meet me or they work with me or they discover themselves again. I'm so grateful for that. It just fills me up with light.
Well, I certainly have enjoyed your time, Charlene. And so thank you so much for sharing your story with me and the listeners. We will make sure that all your information is in the show notes. But before I go, I have to ask you, what is your favorite dinosaur?
T-Rex. The T-Rex is my absolute. I've always loved the T-Rex.
And why T-Rex?
Because I think it's sexy.
All right. Even with the tiny arms?
I think that's the sexiest dinosaur I've ever seen. Yes.
All right. Yeah, that's the first reason for T-Rex that has gone that route. So I thank you for that first answer there. So very cool. Well, Charlene, it's been an absolute pleasure talking with you. Yeah, thank you. And we'll have the information down below. Folks, reach out to Charlene if you want a tune-up on your mindset, if you want her to help you on your goals. Reach out to me if you want me to help you develop the attitude of gratitude to increase your gratitude, positivity, and resilience. Please visit chrisdtgordon.com. You can grab, like I said, grab one of these warm hats. It's still winter out, and I don't know about you, but my bald head really loves being covered. And at the same time, grab a free tag one sheet so you can download it or print it off of your printer and put it on your wall so you have a daily reminder of how to live with gratitude. Please like, subscribe, and share to spread these messages of hope and inspiration to help as many people as you can. So with that, folks, thank you so much for joining me today. Please have a fantastic day. And remember to pass on perfection and go for greatness.